As a child, I faced death almost every day of my life. And when I say this, I don't mean violence on a regular basis or abuse or even actual life threatening situations. No. What I mean is, I thought I would die every day of my life from a variety of things. And this is entirely due to childhood OCD. In this video, I'm going to get a little personal about my own experiences, the life that I lived as a child. If you are sensitive to these topics, such as OCD, anxiety, or death, then viewer discretion is advised. Now, with that introduction out of the way, let's go a bit off script. One of my earliest memories as a child, I was at my grandma's house. And I would have this thing where almost every day, as you know, for a few years of my life, where I would swear in my head over and over. It was this intrusive, like, I don't want to call it an image of like the swear word itself, although maybe it kind of was. It was this intrusive thought of saying words like the F word or other things like that, but it was mostly that. And for a bit of background, I was really raised in a pretty religious home, went to Catholic school, all of that good stuff. And I would be scared. And what I would be scared of was I would swear in my head, and then I would think, oh, God doesn't like this. He doesn't like when you swear. And I literally thought that he was going to strike me down with a bolt of lightning and kill me. And I doubt that, like I said, pretty much every day for at least a couple of years, I had this kind of delusional thought. And I remember my grandma's one day, I couldn't stop. I just swear words, swear words, swear words, swear words, swear words. And I just said that 5 times because of OCD. And I just collapsed on the ground. Because my mind was so overloaded with information and fear. This intense fear. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I just collapsed on the ground. And that's probably my earliest memory that I have. And I think a lot of my memories as a child are like this. Just this confusion, I think is the best way to put it. These intrusive images, disturbing thoughts, would always enter my mind, and I never know what to do about it. And this is more akin to what they call pure O, where there's not really a compulsion behind it, it's more of an obsession. Obsession is in like intrusive thoughts, images, all of that good stuff. Well, not good stuff, I guess. Bad stuff. So maybe more akin to pure O in that case. More so now, it's more like regular OCD, like counting, washing my hands, things like that. But I don't really want to get too much into like my everyday life now in this video, more to my childhood experiences and how it led up to this moment in my life. Another one of my earliest memories I remember is I was in Boy Scouts as a child. And we were, I think it was the War of 1812. We were doing a reenactment of that. And I remember there was this like plant in the field, because we were obviously in fields, you know, War of 1812 and all that good stuff. Well, I guess, again, bad stuff. We were in this field full of these flowers or these plants or whatever. And I remember someone just said, I think kidding or like joking around, or like, if you touch this flower, you're gonna die. And me as a child, you know, I couldn't distinguish what was true or not. And I remember I touched this flower. And somehow the contamination got on my lips. And I remember I wouldn't lick my lips. I just wouldn't do it because I'm like, if I lick my lips, I'm literally going to die. And I want to stress this point even further. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to get harmed, or, oh, like something bad might happen. It was, no. It was that I was literally going to die. So from a young age, I faced mortality, my own mortality, every single day of my life. And so on this particular day, I just wouldn't lick my lips. And this went on for days of this constant fear. And I was probably like 8 at the time too, so I didn't really understand what death meant. I guess I had to learn pretty fast, to be honest, and probably why I'm so scared of death now. But I didn't really know what it meant. I couldn't distinguish, like I said, reality from fiction, reality from anything. I just couldn't distinguish it. You know, my mind was so kind of disturbed already, full of these kind of intrusive thoughts and images. And I just wouldn't lick my lips. And finally, after a few days, I just lick my lips now, actually, funnily enough. After a few days, I decided, okay, I need to face this. If I die, I die. And not even like in a take your own life kind of way. I wasn't trying to do that. More so like I just couldn't deal with the what if anymore. You know, that was just too much for me. I needed to know. I needed to have some sort of answer there. So finally I licked my lips and nothing happened, but in that moment, I think in that moment I was fully prepared to die. Like I had, as an 8-year-old child, I had accepted death as a part of my life. And that theme would kind of continue for a while. You know, like I said, it wasn't as extreme as that example, because like the one kid said you could die if you did that. But like, it was still an everyday thing, or at least a little bit of I faced my own mortality. I remember I had hamsters as a kid, and I was so scared to feed them because I was so scared of the germs. And it got to the point where, you know, this contamination OCD, to where in 8th grade, like, my hands would just bleed all the time. Hand sanitizer, hand soap, wash my hands over and over and over and over and over. Another 5 times I just said that. And it would just plague me. My hands would just bleed all the time, especially during sports. Like, I had cuts in my hands and they would just, you know, burst open. And it was just a lot to deal with. You know, all those hamsters. I had my parents feed them because I just couldn't do it. Or things like my dad, you know, he would have us help in the garage, clean out the garage. And I was just so scared of touching literally anything. And he'd understand, you know. It's not like I ever talked about it. I was sort of a quiet child. I didn't talk about these things. But I experienced these things, you know. I experienced them in full force. And I kind of think of it as like, you know, a brain in a vat just experiencing trauma over and over and over and over and over and over. Almost said that 3 times, not 5. Although now I said 5 sets. I'd said 3 sets of 5, so then 3. So then I'd say 2 more sets of over. There we go. I'm all good. And those are kind of the things I had to deal with as a child with undiagnosed OCD. I've been diagnosed since, obviously. Or I probably wouldn't be making this video. And I didn't know what OCD was for the longest time. I never had any conceptualization of it. Even like the stereotypical, like, wash your hands all the time, which is a real thing, but, you know, it's the public perception of OCD is solely It's like their only perception of it. I didn't understand what that was. I never really heard about it. So honestly, like maybe couple years ago, honestly. So for the longest time, I just thought like everyone kind of had to deal with this. Everyone had to face death every single day of their life. And what that does to you, I don't really know the answer to that, honestly. I think facing it, and I want to stress this again, it wasn't a violent situation. My parents were very good to me, but it felt, I mean, I guess I couldn't say, obviously, because I haven't been in the situation, but like it felt life-threatening. And being bombarded with that every single day of your life, that accumulates trauma. A lot of stress and trauma. And you carry that. You carry that for the rest of your life. And I think that's why it's important for parents, teachers, guardians, adults, you know, faculty, whatever, to try to recognize these signs. If a child has bleeding hands, recognize that. And, you know, do something with that, because that's probably a problem, I would say. And just facing that every day, I can't imagine the amount of children who experience this every day. And hopefully, you know, one of them can see this video and know that they're not alone in that. You know, maybe even a fan of the channel will see that, even if they're an adult now, will see that and know their experiences are not only valid, obviously, but like other people have experienced that. Other people on YouTube that you watch for an analysis on Cyberpunk Edge Runners or Amori. My two most popular videos both hit 100K, by the way. Very, very happy about that. That they experience these things too. And that's kind of why I wanted to make this video and you know, push that out to my audience, because it's a traumatic thing and it's a misunderstood thing. And I want that to be talked about more. I want people to recognize it more and take it seriously. I recently made a poll on my channel about, do people take serious psychiatric illness seriously? You know, mental disorders, all of that stuff. OCD included, obviously. I think 75% of the people said no. And that makes me just a little bit sad. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot of bit. And I think we have to take these things more seriously and have a healthcare system that tries to treat these things affordably. I know a lot of people probably watching this video can't afford the healthcare they would need to try to treat something like childhood or adulthood OCD. And I think that's just very, very sad. Obviously, you know, you don't need me to tell you that, but my personal opinion, I think it's very sad that people can't afford things like that. Let me get a sip of water. I kind of like these unscripted videos. I'm kind of nervous doing them, but I think I get a lot off my chest when I do them. Like in this video. But yeah, that's welcome to my TED Talk. I just wanted to get on my soapbox and talk about my own experiences with childhood OCD. And I hope you got something out of this video. Sincerely, I do. And if you are someone who has experienced this and is okay talking about it, I would like you to comment and share your story, share your experiences, and we can have a dialogue about it. I think that'd be really nice, really cool. Kind of, maybe you can call it a trauma dump session if you really want to, honestly. Now, without further ado, to kind of end this video, here is a trailer for my horror short film, Squid Boy. And as always, thank you for watching.